The rejected shall be respected. How about Shedeur Sanders starting out his NFL career 1-0 as a starter as he helped the Browns take down the Raiders in their win? And Shedeur Sanders wasn't anything that was out of this world in his first start, but he was definitely way better than what Dillon Gabriel has been over these last couple of months. Shedeur Sanders was averaging 10 yards per completion compared to Dillon Gabriel, who is averaging a measly 4.9 yards per completion. And it's pretty evident with Shedeur Sanders starting at quarterback for the Browns, defenses respect this offense a lot more. Because Shedeur is going to actually push the football downfield. He had 2 throws that went for over 20, 30 yards plus. Those were the most explosive plays that the Browns have had in the passing game since the start of this season when they had Joe Flacco in that quarterback. Dillon Gabriel doesn't have the arm that Shedeur has. He's not halfway the athlete that Shedeur is. The Browns were wasting a lot of time trying to convince themselves that Dillon Gabriel, drafting him over Shedeur Sanders, was justified. They were doing so much politicking, and if they would have started Shedeur a lot earlier, maybe they still would have had a shot of making it to the playoffs. But they're moving forward with Shedeur as a starter, as they should, because the Browns are just a better team with him playing quarterback. Now, is he going to end up becoming the long-term answer at quarterback that the Browns have been looking for? That's to be decided. We still have a lot of games left to be played. I want to see how he looks against a better team and a 49ers defense that has been extremely well coached this year by one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL, and Robert Saleh. And you know that Robert Saleh is going to throw a lot of exotic looks at Shedeur. He's going to send a lot of pressure at Shedeur Sanders. I thought for the most part, Shedeur's first start was okay. I don't think it was great. I do think that there were a lot of plays that Shedeur could have made that the team just wasn't able to come through for him. Like when you had the stupid fumble by Jerry Jeudy. I still need to see a lot more before I start crowning Shedeur Sanders. And I'm not a Shedeur Sanders hater. You guys know this by now. I don't have to waste any time explaining how much I believe in Shedeur. But the internet is coming out with all these conspiracy theories. Kevin Stefanski was sabotaging Shedeur. He took him off the field when they got inside the goal line. He went Wildcat twice with Quinshon Judkins. You can never go wrong running a Wildcat with that monster at running back named the Judkins Machine. Quinshon Judkins is the best rookie running back in the NFL. He's better than Amarion Hampton. He's better than Ashton Jeanty. And yes, I'm biased because I got him on my fantasy team. So you won't see me complaining about Shedeur being subbed out for Quinshon Judkins. And Kevin Stefanski is a run-first coach. Even when Dillon Gabriel was in that quarterback, he was still running the air out of the football, especially once they got inside the 20. You don't want to put a lot on a rookie quarterback's shoulders. When they're playing good football, you want to keep their confidence high. If Shedeur is going to succeed in Cleveland, then the Browns are going to have to make sure that they do a good job protecting him, making sure that they limit the amount of mistakes that he makes, and making sure that he still stays confident. And you don't want to ask Shedeur this early into his career, still trying to get his feet wet in the NFL, still trying to get acclimated to the speed of the NFL game by asking him to go out there and throw 30, 40 times to win you a game, unless it's truly necessary. The Browns had the ability to play complimentary football, and they don't need Shedeur to put on that cape and be Superman. As a matter of fact, I think what hinders a lot of young rookie quarterbacks is when they go into a situation and they're expected to put the team on their back. I feel like that's unfair and it's unrealistic to expect for Shedeur Sanders to have to do that when he's only one start in. I want to see more gradual improvement out of Shedeur Sanders throughout the course of this season. Hell, the NFL scriptwriters were cooking. When they came out with the schedule, they put the Browns and the Titans together in week 14. They knew that the Browns eventually were going to start Shedeur Sanders and that we were going to get Shedeur versus Cam Ward. This is a matchup that everybody's going to be watching. If you felt like Shedeur was better than Cam Ward, you're either going to be proven right or you're going to be proven wrong in the next couple of weeks. And that's going to be the game that's going to tell me what Shedeur Sanders' career is going to look like, because you're only as good as what your peers are. We always are comparing quarterbacks to who they got drafted with in their respective quarterback classes, who are the other guys who are around their same age range. And Shedeur is going to be compared to Cam Ward because we thought that these were going to be the first two quarterbacks taken off the board. And we get to see them go head to head. Now, you guys know I'm a Miami fan. I love Cam Ward. He's my favorite Hurricane ever. So, of course, I'll give him the edge over Shedeur. I think from the physical attribute standpoint, Cam Ward has a stronger arm. He's a better athlete, but Shedeur is a more accurate passer, a more efficient thrower of the football. And now with the Browns getting Shedeur into some meaningful NFL action, do you find it funny how guys like Isaiah Bond, Harold Fanning, guys that you haven't really heard their names mentioned that often, were finally making plays? It's funny how when you finally have a quarterback that can throw the football more than 5 yards downfield, defenses start respecting your offense. And now when any team goes up against the Browns, they just can't stack 7, 8, 9 guys in the box and go all out on stopping Quinshon Judkins. Now you have to worry about Shedeur Sanders beating you over the top with play action, rolling outside the pocket. Look, I understand why a lot of Shedeur stands feel the way that they feel about Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski is a solid coach. This dude made it to the playoffs twice with Baker Mayfield and Joe Flacco. He's a 2-time coach of the year. He's the most winningest coach that the Browns have had, arguably, in the history of their franchise. He may just be the best head coach they've ever had. And if he was to get fired at the end of this year, teams will be lining up on their knees to hire him. So I think that Shedeur Sanders, contrary to popular belief, is in really good hands with Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski isn't trying to sabotage Shedeur Sanders. Do you not know how hard it is to get a head coaching job in the NFL? It's a lot harder to become a head coach in this league than it is to become a player. And you can become a head coach, get fired, and maybe not get another opportunity again. It takes guys 10, 15 years, maybe 20 years of grinding to finally get a head coaching opportunity. So you got to be a little bit ignorant to say that Kevin Stefanski is out there intentionally trying to sabotage Shedeur Sanders. The NFL is a business at the end of the day. And yes, people's egos may sometimes make them a little bit hesitant to make decisions that they should have made a lot earlier, but everybody still is trying to win. And at the end of the day, Kevin Stefanski isn't going to sabotage his livelihood for the sake of trying to make Shedeur Sanders look bad. I heard Skip Bayless say that he's starting him against the 49ers because he wants the 49ers to humble him. That's nonsense. Kevin Stefanski wants to win. Kevin Stefanski still wants to prove that he's good enough to remain the head coach of the Browns. And if Shedeur Sanders keeps playing the way that he has and he keeps on developing, who does that make look good? Kevin Stefanski. And imagine if Shedeur Sanders does end up turning into the golden boy that we all expect him to become with the last name on the back of his jersey. All that does is give Kevin Stefanski more prestige, especially when a lot of folks inside the NFL, from executives, GMs, and scouts, weren't really that high on Shedeur. And if Kevin Stefanski is able to win a few games with Shedeur this year, then next year, let's say they possibly make it to the playoffs, you're looking at a guy who probably ends up winning his third Coach of the Year award, and he gets a lot of kudos for helping develop a guy that most people thought were only good enough to be a backup.